Let's see, I'm going to work out the lighting on this. I think this is the angle. Because this makes me look like a serial murderer. And you are just loud, Panther. Panther. But anyhow, no. If you would just be quiet, little cat. So I posted two things just now. I was thinking that, you know, real comedy makes light of oneself. Also, you could also interpret that as real comedy doesn't take oneself so seriously. So the best kinds of comedy, like especially like self-deprecating comedy, right? It shows the social kind of awareness of a person, right? That one can objectively look at oneself and make fun of oneself. That one can just see the apparent irony and the comedy and the funniness that exists with us pretending like we are these walking selves, these walking constructs that we've built up in our minds, and we play out these actors that we call ourselves, right? So it's just funny, and a comedic person recognizes that. A not funny person will do the opposite. A not funny person will, how do you say, take the self too seriously, And so if someone makes fun of you, the worst thing you can do, unless it's for a comedic thing and you're pretending like it's really offending you, but you're not really offended, unless you're saying like, oh, your joke just really offended me and I'm so butthurt right now, I might just slap you in the face, and it's like a funny thing, then it's okay. But it's not okay if you can't even take a joke. You see what I'm saying? So part of what it means to take a joke is to know how to lose. Because if you know how to lose, you know how to win. If you know how to die, you know how to live. So really in comedy holds the secret to life, right? Because if you know how to take a loss or take disrespect or take a jab basically, right? Then you'll be fine. Because if you know deep inside there is no one to jab, right? Because assuming that you are a good person, you are a clean mirror, you're a clean soul, you're a clear individual with clear clarity and clear thinking. If someone takes a jab at you, you realize they just jabbed right through me. Just like in the Matrix when you're dodging all those bullets are actually people's opinions and offensive remarks towards you. And as long as you know that, yeah, you could be right, and if you're right, it's funny. Even there's a scene I think with Buddha. Some kids are like laughing at him or something, and he's like, "I'm just happy that they find something to laugh about." So that's the point where even if people laugh at your expense, that's okay. Laugh at my expense. That's what I'm here for. You see what I'm saying? That's it's okay to make offensive remarks to me. See, this is the opposite of hate speech, right? Hate speech is saying you cannot make any remarks because they're going to be offensive. I'm saying make all the offensive remarks you want, because as long as I'm mature enough to handle them, there won't be a problem. But if my self is exaggerated, I will not be able to handle offensive remarks. Hence, I will be triggered beyond, logical, sensible reason, right? So, as a man, really, a man doesn't need to fight over things that don't exist, right? A man doesn't create a real man, right? Doesn't need to create turbulence or problems. A real admiral is just focused on a smooth ride, and anything that gets in front of the smooth ride needs to be cleared. You see what I'm saying? So, uh, so if you try to steer the boat in such a way where it's not able to be steered, it's not going to be a smooth ride. But in the same sense, people in your boat may be stopping you from allowing a smooth ride to take place. And this is where comedy is very important, because you must realize that, again, it's the funniest thing when everyone thinks you're not going in the right direction, right? But you're actually going in the perfect direction, and no one's expecting the punchline, and then a what bam! That's the best comedy, right? So I also think that comedy, because you can't take yourself too seriously, you can't always put yourself as better than other people, right? You have to almost level yourself and say, I'm just a sinner or crappy, I have lustful urges, I have, sad thoughts, I have lonely, whatever. You level with people too. Because if you make it seem like you're God and everyone else is not God, it's hard to laugh. It's hard to have a good time about it, right? It's hard to say at the end of the day we all make mistakes, but that's not the, the end of it all. So there's a message of comedy. Um and this relates into the first thing that I posted was dancing, right? So comedy is like dancing. You can overthink about which moves you're gonna do, but really the best thing is to be in the moment, and what's better than choreography is not having anything choreographed. Just like when you hit someone, instead of how do you say, I forgot the correct term for it is, but instead of displaying how you're going to attack, it's better if you don't even know how you're going to attack. If you watch Bruce Lee fight, or if you watch Patrice O'Neill joke, right? Either way you go, it's there's a sense of unpredictability. So there's a sense of them almost allowing the world to play the hand, and from the hand that they're given, they play perfectly. You see? So if you watch Bruce Lee fight, uh, he's like a proactive reactor, if that makes any sense. So he's almost using self-defense so perfectly it becomes offensive. He's on the attack with his defense because his defense is so impeccable, right? In the same sense with Patrice O'Neill's joking, right? He's so impeccable in his how do you say, in his disintegration of societal stupid boundaries and rules that you forget that they're even there. So it's this sense of unpredictability, to be able to think on your feet, to be quick on your feet. That's the only way to dance, to really dance, is not just to study dance for 3 years and think, since I've studied dance for 3 years, now I'm going to be good at dance. Since I've looked at a paper of best jokes, 100 best jokes, now I'm going to be a good joker. No, there's delivery, there's timing, there's the societal social cue of being in front of people and feeling them out. There's all of these things that are so complex that are happening that we must be present to and clued in and timed in, right? If we're just thinking in terms of this play worked in the past, or this boxing move, or this martial art move, or this joke worked in the past, but and because it worked in the past it must work now, that's not the case. Things are ever so fluctuating, things are ever so changing, that what it meant to be funny before, what it meant to be good at fighting before, is not what it means to be good at fighting or being funny now. So the best way to be funny, the best way to fight, is right now, with 10% preparation and 90% being quick on your feet, right? So don't be stuck on the plan, but rather be fluid with your plan, be flexible with your plan. And in being flexible with your plan, you realize everything will go to plan. Or because you are flexible, there's a plan for everything. But if you come into it with this plan, it must work, and this is the only plan I'm going to execute, and the plan doesn't work out, well, you got the short side of the stick. So, again, there's a balance of premeditation and then the meditation, the actual adequate thinking that arises with the thought that arises, or with the action that arises. Putting everything in the right place, just enough, not too much, not too little. And again, this is comedy, and this is the self, right? Not too much, not too little. Because if you pretend like you're selfless, or if you're totally selfish, you cannot level with people. But if you have a nice balance of, yes, I'm a selfish man, but at the same time, sometimes a selfish man can do some selfless things, then you'll probably be on the sweet spot.